Alright, movie buffs, get ready to dive into the queerest, most fabulous cinematic year yet. 2024 was a banner year for LGBTQ+ representation on the big screen, and we're here to celebrate the top 10 gayest flicks that had us swooning, laughing, and crying. So grab your warm blankets, hit that like button, and let's get ready to spill the tea on the hottest gay movies of 2024. Queer. Honestly, the best one-line description of this film comes from The Guardian newspaper, which described it as, Daniel Craig is needy, horny, and mesmeric in this erotic drama. Can there be any better invitation to watch a film? However, once you are past the obvious charisma of Daniel Craig, there is much to be scratched beneath the surface. It is a raw, vulnerable story following William Lee, a troubled expat trying to live out his best life in 1940s Mexico City. The film follows his pursuit of a young man named Allerton, but this quest spirals into a chaotic exploration of sex, drugs, and identity. Luca Guadagnino has a catalog with all varieties of films, and yet, even for him, Queer is a wildly different film in terms of stylistic and rhythmic choices. And this difference gets pronounced in the last act of the film, where it veers to a completely different and psychedelic direction. For those familiar with Guadagnino only through Call Me By Your Name or Challengers, this film might appear less accessible. It is filled with surrealism and metaphor, blending the real and unreal seamlessly. Guadagnino uses miniatures throughout the film, which are intentionally unrealistic and showcases the lead character's inner desires and emotional landscape. On the other hand, Queer also demands your patience but doesn't always earn it. Personally, I too felt lost and uninterested during the second act, but the film is better if you know the novel it is based on, Queer by William S. Burroughs. All shall be well. The irony of the film is that by the time you are done watching it, all will not be well. You will be sad, you will be sobbing, and you will be hurting. Not a big, deep pain, but the kind of hurt caused by 1,000 small paper cuts. All Shall Be Well is a picture of cruel realities. It's a deliberate, nimble drama which contains the class imbalance and rampant homophobia that we are all too familiar with. Written and directed by Ray Young, the film revolves around the slipperiness of autumnal love through the eyes of Angie and Pat, a lesbian couple in Hong Kong. The two women have lived together for 30 years, sharing a life that includes daily hikes, trips to the market, or a flower shop owned by another lesbian couple. They fit each other wonderfully. Angie is unassuming while Pat is vibrant. The couple are critical to the health of Pat's family, who are arriving at the couple's home to celebrate the Mid-Autumn Festival. The delicate balance Pat provides, however, is upset when she suddenly passes away without leaving a will. Worst yet, Pat and Angie weren't married, and we've all seen enough nasty interfamilial spats to know what happens next. The movie has several complex characters through which the director shows various social problems in a cramped place like Hong Kong. It tackles homophobia, xenophobia, Hong Kong's housing crisis, among several other heartfelt troubles that audiences of all backgrounds can relate to. In a lesser director's hands, these characters would simply be easy to hate douchebags, but director Young makes sure he zigs when you expect the story to zag. Which foreign language film about the lives of LGBTQ people has emotionally touched you the most?
Το σεξουαλικό δεν είναι η αιτία του προβλήματος. Θες να το λήξουμε?
The Summer with Carmen. Technically, this movie isn't a 2024 movie. However, it was released towards the tail end of 2023, which is why it makes our list. The Summer with Carmen is a delightful and refreshing take on the romantic comedy genre. Set against the backdrop of the vibrant Greek summer, the film follows two best friends, Demos and Nikitas, as they embark on a creative journey to write a screenplay. The film excels in its portrayal of complex and authentic male friendships. The chemistry between the two leads, Yorgos Tiantoulas and Vasilis Tizigristaris, is palpable, making their dynamic both humorous and heartwarming. The screenplay, filled with witty dialogue and meta-cinematic moments, keeps the audience engaged and entertained. While the film does occasionally delve into more serious themes, it never loses its lighthearted tone. The stunning cinematography captures the beauty of the Greek landscape, adding to the overall charm of the film. The Summer with Carmen is a must-watch for fans of queer cinema and anyone seeking a feel-good movie that celebrates friendship, love, and creativity. It's a film that will leave you smiling and feeling hopeful.
I know this might sound crazy.
I saw the TV glow. Very rarely does it happen that a horror movie has LGBTQ characters in it and they are not portrayed as comic reliefs or objects of mockery. In fact, right now as I write this, I can't even name another movie that has queer leads and is similar to I Saw the TV Glow. The movie follows Owen, a young trans man grappling with his identity in a seemingly ordinary suburban setting. As he navigates his own journey, he becomes increasingly drawn to a mysterious online community centered around a creepypasta called the TV Glow. This digital realm becomes a mirror reflecting his own internal struggles, amplifying feelings of alienation and confusion. Apart from the terrific plot, the film also digs deeper into identity, isolation, and the blurred lines between reality and the digital world. And as previously mentioned, this 2024 film delves into the complexities of adolescence, particularly for LGBTQ individuals, with a raw and unflinching honesty. The film also doesn't shy away from the darker aspects of this journey, including the fear of rejection, the pressure to conform, and the ever-present threat of violence. However, it is not without flaws, as the pacing might be slow for some. But personally, I felt that the deliberate slow storytelling allows for a deep dive into Owen's psyche. The performances are also commendable, with Justice Smith delivering a nuanced and emotionally charged portrayal of a character struggling to find his place in the world. Since the film features a TV show as a central plot point, tell us your favorite show as a youngster that you thought did a good representation of LGBTQ people.
Hi. I couldn't find my wallet.
Stress position. Much of modern comedy filmmaking is too concerned with being funny. Comedy filmmakers, talented as they can be, often default to aimless riffing in fear of losing a potential joke. In the process, they hurt whatever character building the script they're directing has given them. Veda Hamill, a first-time director, understands the importance of a script. Her film, Stress Positions, is not overly witty or impressed with itself. It is striking in its clear intentions as a piece of art while simultaneously being one of the funniest films I've seen in years. Taking place during the chaotic summer of 2020, Stress Positions follows recent divorcee and hypochondriac Terry Goon as he tries to safeguard his New York apartment and his injured Moroccan nephew Bahlul from the COVID-19 pandemic. This comes to be an issue, as Bahlul's good looks seem to attract everyone in Terry's life, including Terry's ex-husband, his soul friend, and her girlfriend, his landlord, and even a hapless local driver, Ronald. While seemingly everyone in Brooklyn fawns after him, Bahlul comes to terms with his own journey as a queer person and his fraught relationship with his estranged mother. For a film that is laugh out loud hilarious from beginning to end, there's a lot of depth and, dare I say, sadness here. The satire of ignorant privileged Brooklyn residents is there for laughs, but underneath these easy jokes is something grander about the disconnect between people. Overall, Stress Positions is a bold and original film that offers a unique perspective on the COVID-19 pandemic. Its sharp writing, excellent performances, and dark humor make it a must-watch for fans of independent cinema. Ponyboi is like a neon-drenched dream, a wild ride through a gritty underworld. It's got a bit of everything, a dash of crime, a sprinkle of romance, and a whole lot of heart. River Gallo shines as Ponyboi, a charismatic and complex character navigating a world that doesn't quite understand them. The supporting cast, including Dylan O'Brien, brings energy and intensity to the screen. While the plot might get a bit tangled at times, the film's stylish visuals and electrifying soundtrack keep you hooked. It's a bold and refreshing take on the crime thriller genre, and it's definitely worth checking out if you're looking for something different.
Hey, you're such a meticulous person.
Good grief. When Dan Levy announced he would be writing and starring in a film, the comparisons with Schitt's Creek were inevitable. The TV show was a delightful surprise, funny, heartwarming, and launched Levy's career. So when he decided to make a movie, good grief, it was a big deal. Levy knew he couldn't just copy the magic of his hit TV show. Thankfully, he didn't, and instead created a new story about grief, friendship, and love. While Schitt's Creek was light and fluffy, Good Grief is a bit more serious, with a mix of humor and heartfelt moments. The movie follows Levy's character, a cynical romantic as he deals with loss and finds comfort in unexpected places. It's a classic rom-com setup, but with a twist. The film is set in luxurious locations, including Paris, and features features a fantastic performance by Ruth Negga as a flamboyant and dramatic character. While Good Grief doesn't quite reach the same heights as Levy's smaller screen work, it's still a charming and enjoyable film. It's a bit like a fancy appetizer that leaves you wanting more, but it's still a delicious taste of unique brand of humor and heart. A Good Indian Boy, written by Eric Randall and based on Madhuri Shekhar's play, A Nice Indian Boy is all about subverting stereotypes about Indian culture, both within and outside of the community. The title itself is a cheeky twist on every auntie's favorite refrain, that when a girl is of the right age, she or her family will find her a nice Indian boy to settle down with. This time, however, protagonist Naveen is the one planning to bring home a nice Indian boy, which is probably not what all those aunties were picturing, but a nice Indian boy delights in defying expectations, even as it follows a traditional love story structure. For starters, Naveen's parents know that he's gay, which immediately releases the film from covering a coming out story along with everything else it tries to accomplish. And as for that nice Indian boy, meet white boy Jay Groff. A Nice Indian Boy cleverly spares the audience a familiar and taxing storyline. Naveen doesn't have to explain his culture and upbringing to the fiendishly charismatic photographer, and after the aforementioned singing on a truly memorable first date, things get serious. Sethi's passion for love stories is inherently intertwined in his love for Indian culture and cinema, and now with his queer identity as he applies those potent if predictable storytelling techniques on it.
So in this movie, we are married, and
I Don't Understand You. I Don't Understand You is a quirky, darkly comedic horror film that takes a unique approach to the classic fish out of water scenario. Nick Kroll and Andrew Rannells deliver strong performances as a gay couple facing unexpected challenges while on vacation in Italy. The film cleverly blends humor and horror, creating a tense and often hilarious atmosphere. The script is sharp with witty dialogue and unexpected twists. Kroll and Rannells have great chemistry, and their believable portrayal of a long-term relationship grounds the film amidst its increasingly bizarre situations. While the film's premise is intriguing, the execution can be uneven at times. The pacing slows down in the middle, and some of the horror elements feel a bit forced. However, the strong performances and the film's unique blend of genres make it an entertaining watch for those who appreciate offbeat humor and a touch of the macabre. Overall, I Don't Understand You is a fun and thought-provoking film that offers a fresh take on the horror comedy genre. It's a must-see for fans of Kroll and Rannells, as well as those who enjoy a good laugh and a few scares. That's it for our list of the best gay movies of 2024. Don't forget to tell us which upcoming LGBTQ+ films are you most excited about.